Now that we have our two buttons in our main menu scene, let's hook them up so that they actually do something. First, let's take a look at the actual buttons. If I click on the level 1 button, you'll see that I have the image where I changed the color, and I can adjust that to be whatever I want, and I can even change out the sprite, the background here, to be some other sprite, make it have a different effect. If you go download a cool UI pack, you can get a really nice looking button with borders and everything else, or you could change it out to be just about any icon. I think that just using the default one looks pretty decent though, so I'm going to stick with that for now. Let's expand out the button component though, because the button component is the part that does a lot of the work, or is going to do the work for us. Inside of the button, there are a couple options. First, there's an option for whether or not this button is interactable. If you uncheck it, you'll see that it kind of grays out and it makes it essentially become unusable. So the button can't be interacted with or used. I'm going to recheck that because I want both my buttons available. You also see that you have some options for how to transition. There's a color tint option, which does the tinting that you'll see in a second when I put it in play mode. There's a sprite swap option, which allows you to set a different sprite for when you're clicking on the button, when you're kind of hovering over it, or that's the highlighted, or when it's disabled. Or there's even an animation one that'll allow you to do animations of the sprites. The default though is color tint that has these nice little tints that kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Let's hit play real quick and see those in action, and then we'll talk about the on-click part, which is where we actually get to hook up code. So here you can see that as I put the mouse over, the color just changes a little bit. As I hold the button down, the color changes pretty drastically. And if I change them to be not interactable, obviously it changes quite a bit, and then it no longer is clickable or does a hover or anything. So to use this on-click part and actually have something happen when we when we click on one of these buttons, we're going to need to write some code. You don't necessarily need to write code. It is possible to do something without writing code. I'll show you that first. But for what we actually need to do, we're going to need to write code. Let's start by doing something that doesn't require code, though. In this on-click for the level 1 button, I'm going to hit the plus, and we're going to take the background here, this image. It's just named image right now. I'm going to drag it into the target. That's this part that says none object. Then I'm going to choose the no function part and choose game object, meaning I'm going to run something on the game object of this image. And we're going to choose set active, which takes in a Boolean parameter, which is this checkbox. True would be checked and false is not checked. So when I click this button, it's now going to take this image and move its active property to be false, or change its active property to be false. Now I'm going to do the opposite on the level 2 button. So I'm going to select the level 2 button, hit the plus. We'll go take the image here. We'll go to game object, choose set active, and I'm going to check the box. Now, if I press play, you should be able to guess what's going to happen. I want you to think about it for a second before you press play and before you see it. Think about what's going to happen, but it should be pretty obvious. We click the level 1 button and the background disappears. We click level 2 and it reappears. So this is how we can hook up the buttons to do things, but now we want to hook it up to run our own code. We don't want to turn the background on and off. We want to just load a level. So we have a load level script, and we can open that up and use that as kind of a starting point. Our load level script is the one that's on a flag right now, and it takes a level name, and whenever we collide with the object, we load that level. We want to do something similar, but we want to do it from a button. So we're going to create a new script, and this time we're going to create a new script inside of a script. I'm going to show you the way that I create most scripts when I'm writing lots of code. We're going to go down to the bottom of our load level script, hit enter. Right after the braces, you have to be outside of these braces, and we're going to put in the word public class load level button. Then we'll put a colon and mono behavior. I'm going to hit enter and let that autocomplete. Hit enter and then add in some open braces. This is going to give me a new class inside the same file that's a load level button. This is our load level that's on a flag. In fact, we'll rename it to load level flag in a little bit. Don't do it yet though. And then this will be our load level button. So in our load level button, we're going to want to use a level name and have something that we can assign a level to for now at least. So we'll copy line 8. Control C, go down to line 19 and paste it with Control V. Now I don't want to do an on collision enter in our load level button. Instead, I want to be able to call this from some other script, or essentially from our button. Let's go take a look at that. I want to be able to call it from our on click listeners. And to do that, we need to make it be something that's public on that script, and then have that script be on the attached or the assigned object there. Let's go back into that load level script. What we're going to do is make a public method, public void, And we're going to call this load. I think that's it, just load. We'll add in open closing parentheses and then some braces here. And oh, I accidentally added an extra line on 22, so I'll delete that. Inside of our load method, we're going to call scene manager.load scene level name. So I'm just going to copy line 13 and paste it right here on line 23. Now we need to do something. So if I save this off and I just go try to add this load level button, it's not going to let me. Let's go take a look at that. So if I go over to my level 1 button, give it a second to finish compiling. It's probably going to give me a warning down there. And then I minimize these components and go to add component, search for load level. And notice that the load level button option isn't there. The reason for that is that for a component to be added to a game object, the script that it's in has to be in a file that is named the same as that script. So load level works because it's in a file named loadlevel.cs. Load level button doesn't work because it's not in a load level button.cs. So what we're going to do is with the class selected, the cursor on the class, you can just hit Alt Enter and then choose the move type to loadlevelbutton.cs. There's always a move to file option in code editors, and it'll just move it over, create a new file. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. And then open that file up. So we've got our load level button, and as long as that's saved, I should be able to jump back over to Unity, see it be added right here, and then go assign it to my 2 buttons. Let's see, once it finishes loading, I'll go select level 1 button. We'll add the load level button script here, and I'm going to put in the word level 1 with a space. I'll go to level 2 button and drag in that script and put in the word level 2. Now, if I just press play, it's still not going to work because I haven't hooked up the buttons on clicks to my load level button. So here we are on level 2 button. Let's expand out the button script. And instead of on click changing the active property of the image, let's take the load level button and make that be the target. Then we'll change the function here to be load level button, load, right there on the bottom. Then we'll do the same for the level 1 button. We'll just take in the script here. Then we'll choose load level button and load, save our menu scene, press play, and watch the magic of our level loading as soon as we click our buttons. Let's go see if that works. So we press level 1 and it loads up, goes into level 1. Let's stop playing, play again. Press level 2 and make sure that it goes into level 2. There we go. It's going into level 1. It's going into level 2. I can still go back and forth between them. And if I die right now, it's actually going to take me back to the grass level. Let's see that. So I die and it goes back to the grass. The last thing we need to do is make it go back to the main menu. So we'll hit File and go to Build Settings. And we need to add our main menu to our build settings and make it be scene 0. So hit Add Open Scenes. Drag the menu up to the top. And then when we do our load scene and pass in a 0, it's going to be that menu scene. So go to File, Save Project, press play. Let's run over, die real quick, make sure that our game goes back to the main menu, and then we can pick the level that we want to be in. So I'm going to go over here, press level 2. Hey, I want to test level 2. Let's see how level 2 is working out. And see if I hit a spike or something else. Oh no, I died. Okay, let's go try out level 1. All right, looks like it's working. So I'm going to stop playing. Make sure that we've saved everything. Just go to File and Save Project. And then we'll go into Plastic SCM. So go to Plastic and we'll commit our menu with level load buttons. So menu works with level or load level buttons. And check in.